Hey guys, Pete Mercer here, and the title of this video is Sleep and how will it affect your lifestyle and indeed a bodybuilding lifestyle. So I want to cover what a lack of sleep will do, the different stages of sleep, and how much sleep do you actually need. So first things first, what will a lack of sleep, how will it affect you? Number one, it will affect your metabolism, and as we know you need a fast metabolism if you want to burn fat. And stay, fit and healthy, and metabolism is a big thing for burning fat. So it will slow your metabolism down if you don't get enough sleep. So that's number one on the negative scale. Another thing, it can potentially affect your weight because a lack of sleep will alter how your body processes and stores carbohydrates. So the less sleep you get, the more carbs you'll store as fat. So that's something you want to think about as well. So as we know, the last thing you want to do is be storing and have your digestive system work less or process less carbs throughout the night, things like that. There will potentially you can gain weight by having one, a slower metabolism, and two, not processing your carbohydrates right. So that's another thing to think about. Your appetite will be affected by how much sleep you get, because the less sleep you have, it'll alter your hormone levels, and that's another thing you want to think about. If you don't have a good if you don't have enough appetite, you not get through enough food to reach your macronutrient levels or your calories for the day. Also, if you don't have an appetite at all, you're not going to hit it, and because you're not going to want it. That's basically that. So altered hormone levels and lack of appetite, which is not what you need if you're trying to hit numeric goals, or even if you're trying to stay fit and healthy. If you don't want to eat and you can feel lethargic and tired, it's not a good way to do it. So that goes on to the next thing, which is your mood. It will affect you. You can become irritable and moody and tired and grouchy and all these horrible things. Basically all negative. And that's going to affect your day-to-day life. You're not going to want to get up in the morning. You're not going to want to go to work. You're not going to want to do anything or be inspired to do anything, including your workouts, which is that's where you're going to build muscle in the gym or wherever you're lifting weights. Or if you're going for runs and you're trying to stay fit and healthy, if you're in a foul form, if you're in a bad mood, it's not going to happen. I've told you how important mindset is, so that's a big thing to think about there. You want to be in the best form, physically and mentally that you can. If you don't have enough sleep and you're feeling irritable and grouchy, not going to happen. And in a few extreme cases, if you have extreme lack of sleep, it can cause hypertension, stressed hormone levels, and irregular heartbeat. Now this is in extreme cases, probably won't affect your day in, day out, day-to-day people, probably won't affect you. It doesn't affect me, but in extreme cases this can happen, and that is that's something serious to consider, and potentially it's something to think about, something to worry about if it happens. So something to definitely not let happen to you. Now let's move on to the stages of sleep. Most people think that you're either awake or you're asleep, so 2 stages. That is wrong. Some people know about the difference between non-REM sleep and REM sleep, which is great, but that still only has 3 stages. There are actually 4 stages of sleep. So the first stage of non-REM sleep is when you're starting to get drowsy, your eyes start to feel heavy, and your eyelids are dropping, things like that there. Real easy to stir you out of that, won't affect you too much. So that happens first 5 to 10 minutes. The second stage of non-REM sleep is your light sleep, so that'll last for say 15 to 20 minutes, and you can be woken fairly easily from this. That's when you start, you actually are asleep and you're starting to get comfortable and relax, and your heartbeat will lessen or become slower and things like that. So can still be quite easily woken up from that, but it won't affect you too much. The next stage, stage 3 of non-REM sleep, is your deep sleep, and that lasts for 40 to 60 minutes. And that if you get woken from that, and I'm sure you have before, you'll feel grouchy and grumpy, and you'll not be able to get up, and your eyes won't really open, and you'll be like, it's just not a good way to be. So that's your third stage of non-REM sleep, which is your deep sleep. Then finally followed by that is your REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement. And what a lot of people don't know is when you are asleep and you're in REM sleep, what happens is your eyes are closed, your eyes are going like lightning, and they're flying, and your arms and legs become paralyzed. So you don't move, well, your body basically doesn't move, and your eyes go like wildfire. But this is when you have your lucid thoughts and you dream. You dream when you're in REM sleep. You don't dream when you're in non-REM sleep. So there are the 4 stages. REM lasts for say about 30 minutes, something like that. And what happens is these 4 stages actually cycle continuously while you're asleep, and each cycle lasts for approximately 90 minutes. Now these cycles will actually change as depending on the time, depending on how long you've been asleep for. So at night time your body will, your third stage, your deep sleep will be longer and your REM sleep will be shorter. And then when you get to like morning time, like when you're going to wake up, things like that there, your REM sleep becomes longer and your deep sleep becomes shorter. That's why I'm guessing, you know, as soon as you wake up, that's when you start remembering dreams or things that you've slept about or thought about in your sleep. So you know, that's something to think about as well. So what deep sleep does is renews your you know, the physical properties of your body. That's what makes you feel physically rejuvenated. You know, that's so it restores the processes there. And your REM sleep is what renews your mental state. You know, in the psychological aspects and how you feel mentally, happy, or you know, awake, alive. You know, the mental process. So you know, the two are equally as important. If you are lacking in sleep, the body will focus primarily on your deep sleep and get your body physically ready for the action that it needs. So that will actually suffer in your REM sleep. So you will mentally suffer if, you know, you're physically tired. So it's kind of one of these, like, you know, endless chains of negativity. So, you know, the less sleep you have, the more your body needs to focus on your physical body when you're asleep rather than your mental state, which means you'll suffer negatively mentally and psychologically. So you won't be feeling as good mentally, you know, the next day. So definitely something to monitor as well. So, you know, after that, how much sleep do you need? Well, the best recommendation is 7.5 to 9 hours sleep. You know, a lot of people say I can only sleep for 5 hours, I can only sleep for 6 hours. You know, and you know, it's not strictly true, to be honest with you, with anyone. You can sleep for the right amount of time, as long as, you know, if you stay awake for the whole day, you know, when you go to sleep, you know, you can sleep for 7.5 to 9 hours. If, you know, you say, oh, I don't like mornings, but you have to get up, go to bed early. People hate going to bed early. You know, no one enjoys doing it. Nobody wants to do it. Well, a lot of people don't want to do it. You know, they prefer to stay up late on their computer or on playing Xbox or PlayStation or whatever it is. But, you know, this is a really important thing just in everyone's day-to-day life, but especially if you're trying to stay physically active and fit and follow your fitness lifestyle. You know, the sleep is really important. So get your 7.5 to 9 hours sleep and try to do it continuously. You know, some people say, well, I can only sleep for 5 hours. Is it okay if I nap? Yes, it's okay if you're not, but as I've covered, you know, you've got your cycles of sleep. So, you know, by the time you actually get, you know, worthwhile sleep, it'll take you 90 minutes to go through the cycle. So if you only get 90 minutes, you're getting, you know, one cycle, and it's not going to be as even as if you get, you know, one complete sleep with the different cycles, which can vary in your deep sleep and your REM sleep, and, you know, you'll feel fully replenished. So I would recommend, if you can, get, you know, one big chunk of sleep for 7.5 to 9 hours. And then, you know, that's you good for the day. Stay awake for the whole day. If you feel tired, stay up, deal with it, kind of thing. But if you get that sleep, you'll feel fully rejuvenated physically and mentally, and that will prepare you for the whole day, and you'll feel pretty good about it. You know, the next thing is, if you can't get to sleep for that long, and you can only sleep for 6 hours, 6.5 hours, or sometimes if you wake up in the middle of the night and you feel, you know, really tired and grouchy and awful, it's probably because you've been awoken mid-cycle. So that comes to, you know, if you have to wake up or you can only sleep for 6 hours, let's say you go to bed, just for example, if you're going to bed at midnight and, you know, you're getting up at 6, you might feel kind of, you know, grouchy and lousy. What you want to do is, whenever you go to sleep, or whatever time you're planning to go to sleep or bed at, you know, and you have to get up the next day, try and set your alarm at a multiple of 90 and try and fit in at the end of one of your 90-minute cycles. And, you know, that's once you've completed the cycle, that's when you're ready to wake up, and that's when you'll be, you know, coming back to your, you know, light stages of sleep. So that's something I don't think many people, or certainly not many, know. Certainly no one I know knows about the 90-minute cycles. So, you know, if you're going to wake up, try and wake up, you know, in a course of 90 minutes. You know, through at the end of one of your cycles, or nearing the end, or at the very, you know, beginning of the next one. So that will, you know, you'll feel fresher, more rejuvenated, and you'll feel better when you wake up then, because your body will naturally wake up better. So that's something to think about as well. And that's basically, you know, that's all I want to cover. So it's, you know, obviously sleep is very important. Lack of sleep, slow metabolism, you'll gain weight, your carbs won't be processed through your body as well. You know, important things to think about, you know, mood, grouchiness, things like that. So, you know, yeah, sleep's important because you'll feel awful and, you know, has the negative physical side effects. You know, 4 stages of sleep, you don't really need to know about it. The important thing is there that is a 90-minute cycle. So if you need to wake up, try and calculate it so it works over, you know, multiplies into, or divides into 90. And you'll get your cycle there. So that's, you know, helpful if you need to get up in the morning. That's a good time to do it. And try and get your 7.5 to 9 hours sleep. That is the optimum. If you need to do less, you know, fine. But try and get through the entire day. Oh, one last thing. if you do get, like, if you have a horrible thing, you can't get to sleep at all, let's say you don't get to sleep until 2 or 3 in the morning, you have to get up at 6, 7 in the morning. A lot of people think, right, I'll make it up at the weekend, I haven't got work, I haven't got anything to do. That is a bad way to do it. Yes, you might feel great the day after when you've had a long sleep, but that will catch up with you and you will crash after a couple of days. The body will take that sleep off you whether you want to or not, because that's what it needs, and it will take it back eventually. Say you've got, set level, this is where you need to sleep. If you get here, the body will bring it back up to there whether you like it or not over time. So how do you do that? You do little increments of sleep. So let's say you lose 3 hours sleep the next day, go to sleep for half an hour longer, the next day half an hour longer. Do it little by little. That way the body will become more naturally, it'll process it better and more naturally, and you'll feel better for, let's say you'll feel less bad each day than you would if you just tried to catch up on a bunch of sleep, had a lazy morning, lay in. You're going to crash. It's going to happen. So that's my, that's the information I've got to give on sleep. Something you may not have thought about before, something that might interest you or might make you rethink how much sleep you're getting, or certainly, how to monitor the sleep that you are having so that you can feel, you can benefit from it physically and mentally. So, yeah, something to think about maybe. Anyway, I'm Pete Mercer. Take it easy.